Hello, I'm Colin Masson, Research Director for Industrial AI at ARC Advisory Group, and I'm here with Ashin Parikh, who was on my panel earlier today. Ashin is the Senior VP of Global Supply Chain and Operations, and you've got a strategy component to that role.
As well,
right?
yes.
So why don't we start off with maybe you describing your role a little bit more?
Sure. Thanks. First off, thanks for having me, Colin. So I lead strategy and transformation for our global PepsiCo supply chain and operations. And so part of our objective is to help bring in digital tools and capabilities within our supply chain functions as well as our procurement functions and really help advance the agenda for the organization.
And you were you did the keynote this morning. Fantastic job, by the way.
Thank you, thank you.
And you really fleshed out a lot of the details of what you were doing with AI, which is really our theme this year at the conference. But what brought you to the ARC Forum for Industrial Leadership?
Sure. I mean, obviously the opportunity to be on your panel and have the opportunity to give a keynote speak this morning to the broader group and share the PepsiCo strategy and transformation was a big part of it, but also just being able to have the opportunity to learn from other leaders and see how other industries are approaching AI and how they're making progress. And I think the best thing is to be able to just get best practices and take some back to us and share others with others. So.
And you certainly seem to be enjoying the conversation on the follow-on panel where we were talking with others in the supply chain. So supply chain was a big theme, I think, this year. But one of the reasons we invited you to talk, right, was you opened up at CES with what's the guy that wears the leather jacket? Oh, it's Roland Busch at Siemens, right?
That was Roland Busch, that's right.
But he also had Jensen Huang from NVIDIA, and those kind of two were significant in your approach. So can you tell us more about that alliance with Siemens and NVIDIA that you talked about at CES and this morning?
Sure. So we have a joint partnership with Siemens and NVIDIA to really help us bring digital twin capabilities to life by leveraging one Siemens digital twin composer, but then powered by NVIDIA's computing power. And so, why is the digital twin so important for us and why is this initiative important? There's really two big use cases that we're focused on. One is how do we reduce capital dependency or be more efficient with our capital? And the second is how do we become more efficient in our day-to-day operations and remove bottlenecks, anywhere where we can increase throughput, reduce waste. We believe that digital twin is a key capability that's going to enable us to do that.
All right, and I think a lot of what you shared on the panel today was kind of those use cases, and as you say, it was like capital avoidance, right? So not having to spend money or as much money.
As much money, correct.
Right? And so it was already kind of painting a different picture of the potential future of supply chain. Can you flesh that out a bit more? What does that look like for PepsiCo over maybe the next 5 years? How's it going to continue to evolve?
I think one of the biggest things we've learned over the last few years is that the consumer demand and our customer expectations are rapidly changing, and we have to be able to adjust and adapt to that. And our supply chain has to be resilient enough to be able to meet that demand. Historically, our physical environment was very much fixed in nature, and so anytime we saw a significant shift in demand or a change in the way the consumer wanted to receive or interact with our products, it took significant investments to go make those changes. By leveraging digital twins and the other capabilities like agentic AI and smart automation, it will now give us the ability to have a much more agile and resilient supply chain that can meet to that demand. And so now we can, in the virtual world, reimagine how our footprint needs to look to maybe have a different type of solution that hits the consumer in a different way, but do it with high confidence and doing it the best way with the money that we need to spend.
All right, I'd spent a lot of my earlier career looking at consumer-driven supply networks. You may be familiar with that term. So certainly resonated with me. Awesome job this morning, and it painted a really compelling picture of the future of supply chain. Great. But maybe some closing thoughts for other operations leaders who maybe are not quite at the level that Pepsi. You've got one of the most sophisticated supply chain solutions or approaches out there. What's the advice you'd give to somebody maybe a little bit further behind that's trying to follow you and learn from you?
I think it's critical that you really define the business case. Really understand what problem are you trying to solve, and being clear on what those metrics are, what the outcomes you expect to be, so that as you leverage these capabilities, you can really measure against it and you can show the organization what you're delivering. And at the same time, I'd try to get some quick wins, right? You can't take 2 years to, have a ROI that someone's expecting. And so how do you get wins within 6 or 12 weeks where the organization can start to see the improvements that you're making through AI or through automation so that they can continue to buy into to your strategy and help you expand and grow in that space.
Thanks. The pace that you're moving at, I hope we're going to see you next year to give us an update.
Would love to. Would love to.
Great. Looking forward to that. So I've been talking with Ashin Parikh, Senior Vice President of Global Supply Chain and Operations at PepsiCo. Thank you. I'm Colin Masson with ARC Advisory Group.